Gon is the main protagonist in Hunter x Hunter, and this is why he's a great character. He's a young boy who has dreams to be a hunter just like his father, and we see him during the hunter exam accomplish this, but also being extremely impressive. Gon has a very kind, caring, and empathetic personality, but he's also brave, determined, and got some confidence. He seems like a very innocent character because he's a young kid and because his personality traits aren't selfish, or he doesn't ever do anything to try to harm others when they haven't done anything bad or without a good reason. We get to see him learn through Hunter x Hunter. From the beginning to the end, he becomes much more powerful and a much bigger threat. Compared to other main characters like Kurapika or Killua, he looks pretty dumb since they're intelligent characters and it's a trait that they're stronger in, but Gon is always happy and he is not lacking as much in any other traits. He's the kind of character you want to succeed because he's so determined, but at the same time he's such an innocent and good person. It's just like during the Hunter exam in the final round when he went up against Hanzo. Everyone wanted him to end up being fine, but he was so determined and wouldn't give up. So his determined personality, along with how good of a person he is, makes him very likable. He's like the character that it looks like is never down or in a bad mood. But when compared to Killua, Leorio, or Kurapika, they're characters that will be sad or, not in the best mood at times. But Gon, even when he's dealing with tough situations, sure, he might be a little bit angry, but usually he's always still pretty happy and still has a pretty positive mindset. So I just think a big trait of Gon's characters is innocence. And we also see more of Gon's determination in the Hunter exam with Hisoka, and how when Hisoka leaves him lying on the ground, he still manages to get up. And after meeting Hisoka in the Hunter exam, he wants to fight Hisoka, and that's when he ends up fighting him in Heaven's Arena, giving it his all, being super determined, but losing, of course. I think Gon is one of the most determined characters in all of Hunter x Hunter. I would say him and Kurapika are probably the most. Another thing about Gon though is he cares a lot about his friends and makes a much bigger deal than almost everyone else about something bad happening to his friends. So like I mentioned before, he is very caring. And the moment where he was in rage and sitting waiting for Pito showed his temper, because at times Gon can have a big temper and a short temper. I would say him and Kurapika probably have the biggest tempers in all of Hunter x Hunter as well. Not only are the most determined, but have the biggest tempers. And I would say Gon has even less control over his temper than Kurapika. His temper makes him so powerful. He literally turned into the adult version of himself. But his temper, if anything, made his character more likable because his temper stemmed and started from the fact that Pito killed his friend Kite, and it shows how much he really cared about his friend. So I'm trying to say, whenever Gon sort of does something negative or has some sort of temper or tries to hurt someone, it's always extremely justified. It makes lots of sense. And he also seems very worthy, sort of like Superman, because Superman's supposed to represent hope and being good, and Gon really fits that. But Gon also is like Superman because Superman's like unstoppable. He's extremely powerful. And Gon, he's extremely powerful as well, especially when he's adult Gon. During the Hunter exam, we see that even if they're opponents with Gon, they still like him, and he stands out from all the other competitors because of how good-natured he is and his innocence. You just wish the best for him, and Gon always wishes the best for others as well. Gon's the type of character that will go out of his way to help anyone at all times because he knows it's the right thing to do. But a lot of the other characters, or let's say Killua, for example, they're not always going to go out of their way to help some innocent person that's getting attacked on the street. I'm not saying they won't, but I'm not confident saying that they'll always just do that. But Gon, you know for sure that he's going to go ahead and do something about it anytime he sees something like that, because he always does what is right. I think Gon's character kind of balances out the other main characters, because characters like Killua and Kurapika are much more dark. They're both very intelligent, more serious characters, whereas Gon's more fun, focused on being kind, and a little silly. He always makes the other main characters happy. He's the one that always tries to stop a fight or make everyone get along and just wants everyone to be happy. And a lot of the time, he makes the other main characters happy and puts them in a good mood. Like, I remember seeing him do that a lot during the Hunter exam. Whenever Leorio and Tompa would argue or someone would get mad and they would think they had to be against each other, Gon always tried to bring them together, or Gon would always make them happy and put them in a better mood. Gon's character design is also very good and it's very unique. He wears mainly green and then some black as well. And these colors definitely stand out and aren't the most common colors you see people wearing. And then he has black hair that's straight and sitting upwards. I definitely like his appearance and I think it's very creative. Gon is supposed to be the good in all the bad. Everyone else around him shows how Gon is so good-natured and how he's such a good individual. I think Gon has some of the best traits to not only be seen as a good character, but to be seen as a likable character. He's kind, determined, and caring. It reminds me a lot of Kurapika. A character like Killua is kind of dark like Kurapika, but I would say Kurapika seems much more like a better person. And it's because Kurapika is kind, Kurapika is caring, and he is determined. So he shares those traits like Gon. Killua is sort of determined to some degree. I wouldn't say as much as the other two. And I also wouldn't consider him as much of a kind character as much of the time, and especially more towards the beginning of Hunter x Hunter. He also just doesn't seem to care for others as much, except for maybe someone like Gon he seems to care very much about. So I think Hunter x Hunter has chosen pretty much the perfect main character. I think he has an interesting storyline with his father, and that it's very enjoyable to watch him grow through Hunter x Hunter and become even more powerful and gain more experience being young like he is. And I think he's kind of like Luffy from One Piece, but I actually think that Gon is better in a way. They're both kind, innocent, and caring, but I would say Luffy's a little bit too cartoony, a little bit too goofy. If you want something that's more in the middle, I feel like Gon is perfect for that. He can pretty much be all those things, but he's not really too much of anything. And then of course, if there's traits you do like, maybe you would like him to be more of that, but he's probably got that. And I would say he's just a very balanced character that's well-rounded. I know Gon isn't usually in the top 3 most loved Hunter x Hunter characters. I'm pretty sure it's Kurapika, Hisoka, and Killua, which are also mine, but I don't know exactly for sure how loved Gon is among Hunter x Hunter fans. Like, I don't know where exactly he would be. I'm guessing not far below those other 3 characters, or maybe right after them. But undoubtedly, Gon is a great character, and I think he brings something great to Hunter x Hunter that has a positive impact on the series. Guys, let me know what you think in the comments. Is Gon your favorite Hunter x Hunter character? Is he one of your favorite Hunter x Hunter characters? What are some things you like about Gon? What do you think makes him a good character? And I'll see you in the next video.